Here is our third ancient city. It is the story of the rise of Aleppo, a story from 6000 BC to 2000 BC. In the fertile crescent of the ancient world, where the rivers whispered life into the arid lands, a settlement began to take root around 6000 BC. This was Aleppo, a place destined to become a cornerstone of human civilization. Nestled in the northern reaches of what would one day be called Syria, the land was kissed by the Euphrates River, its waters a lifeline for the early peoples who gathered there. The first families, 6000 BC. The first to settle were small bands of Neolithic farmers, drawn by the promise of the river's bounty. Among them was a young woman named Lyra, her hands calloused from years of tending to wild grains. She and her family built simple mud brick huts on a gentle hill, where the winds carried the scent of barley and the distant bleating of goats. They worshipped the earth, offering the first of their harvests to the spirits they believed lived in the river and the sky. Lyra's brother Tamar was a skilled potter, shaping clay vessels to store their precious grain. These early Aleppans lived simply, but their community grew as more families arrived, drawn by tales of the fertile land. By 5500 BC, the settlement had expanded. The people of Aleppo learned to irrigate their fields, channeling the Euphrates waters to nourish their crops. They domesticated sheep and cattle, and their village buzzed with the sounds of children playing and the rhythmic pounding of grain into flour. Lyra, now a respected elder, watched as her grandchildren carved small figurines from stone, offerings to the gods for protection. The hill where they lived became a sacred place, a mound, where they buried their dead with care, believing they would guard the living from the afterlife. The age of trade and temples, 5000 BC. As centuries passed, Aleppo's reputation as a fertile haven spread. By 5000 BC, it had become a hub for trade. Caravans from the south brought obsidian, its dark sheen prized for tools and adornments, while others from the north traded in furs and amber. A young man named Keshar rose to prominence during this time, his sharp mind and fearless spirit making him a natural leader. Keshar organized the first market on the outskirts of the settlement, where traders bartered under the shade of woven reed canopies. He married a woman named Ashira, whose songs to the moon goddess were said to bring rain during droughts. Keshar's greatest legacy was the construction of a temple on the sacred hill, a circular structure of stone and mud brick dedicated to the sun god Shamash. The people of Aleppo gathered there during the solstice, their voices rising in chants as they burned offerings of incense and grain. The temple became a symbol of their unity, and under Keshar's leadership, Aleppo grew to nearly 1,000 souls. They developed a primitive script to record their trades, simple marks on clay tablets that marked the beginning of written history in the region. The rise of a city, 4000 BC. By 4000 BC, Aleppo was no longer a mere village but a burgeoning city. Its population swelled as neighboring tribes Damascus, seeking safety and prosperity. The oldest capital in the world. The city's walls, built from sun-baked welcome back to the channel. Stretched around the settlement. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the most fascinating cities on earth. Inside, Damascus, the streets were alive with the clatter of looms city of and the scent of baking bread. And the oldest capital in the world, named Damascus, has been a crossroads of civilizations for over 10,000 textiles years. Dyed with indigo and madder root. Her fabrics traded as far as the Euphrates. Nurit's husband, Balaam, was a priest in the temple of Shamash, which had been expanded with towering pillars carved with images of the sun and stars. The temple became a center of learning, where priests recorded the movements of the heavens and predicted the seasons. Balaam taught his son, Zarek, the sacred rites, but Zarek's heart was drawn to the art of metalworking. Around 3500 BC, he learned to smelt copper, crafting tools and weapons that strengthened Aleppo's position as a regional power. The city's forges glowed late into the night, and the sound of hammers on anvils echoed through the streets. The Bronze Age in conflict, 3000 BC. As the Bronze Age dawned around 3000 BC, Aleppo stood at the crossroads of emerging civilizations. The Sumerians to the south and the Akkadians to the east sent emissaries, seeking alliances. A leader named Eshin rose to power, a man of vision and strength. Eshin oversaw the alloying of copper and tin to create bronze, a metal that revolutionized both farming and warfare. Under his rule, Aleppo's armies grew, their bronze-tipped spears gleaming in the sun as they defended the city from invaders. But with growth came conflict. Around 2800 BC, a rival city, Ebla, challenged Aleppo's dominance. The two cities clashed in a series of battles along the Euphrates River, their warriors fighting with ferocity. Eshin's daughter Ishtara emerged as a voice of peace. She was a healer, known for her knowledge of herbs, and she tended to the wounded on both sides. Ishtara's compassion led to a truce sealed by her marriage to the Prince of Ebla, a union that brought a fragile peace to the region. The two cities began to trade, exchanging olive oil, wool, and bronze goods, and Aleppo's marketplace thrived once more. A legacy of resilience, 2000 BC. By 2000 BC, Aleppo had weathered centuries of change. Its population had grown to tens of thousands, and its citadel, built on the ancient sacred hill, stood as a testament to its enduring spirit. The Temple of Shamash had been rebuilt, its walls adorned with lapis lazuli brought from distant lands. A scribe named Demir recorded the city's history on clay tablets, his stylus etching the stories of Lyra, Keshar, Nurit, Eshin, and Ishtara, names that had become legends. The people of Aleppo gathered each year to celebrate the harvest, their voices rising in songs of gratitude to the gods. They had faced famines, wars, and the shifting tides of power, but their city endured. Aleppo, born in the cradle of civilization, had become a beacon of resilience, its streets a tapestry of cultures, its fields a source of life. And as the sun set over the Euphrates River, the city looked to the future, its story far from over. By 2000 BC, Aleppo had already stood for millennia as a thriving hub in the northern reaches of the Fertile Crescent. Nestled along the Euphrates River, the city had grown from a humble settlement into a bustling center of trade and culture, its citadel a symbol of resilience. The story of Aleppo from 2000 BC to 100 AD is one of empires, faith, and the enduring spirit of its people. The Age of Amorite Ascendancy, 2000 BC. Around 2000 BC, Aleppo was under the influence of the Amorites, a Semitic people who had migrated into the region. The city became part of the powerful kingdom of Yamhad, with Aleppo as its capital. A king named Sumuepu ruled with wisdom, fortifying the city's walls and expanding its trade networks. Sumuepu's daughter, Inanna, was a priestess of Ishtar, the goddess of love and war, whose temple stood at the heart of the citadel. Inanna led rituals to ensure the city's prosperity, her chants echoing through the streets as merchants traded bronze tools, lapis lazuli, and textiles from as far as Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley. The marketplace of Aleppo buzzed with life. A trader named Barak, who had traveled from Sumer, brought cuneiform tablets inscribed with records of grain shipments, while local artisans sold intricately woven rugs dyed with saffron and indigo. Barak's son, Eliam, apprenticed under a local smith, learning to craft bronze daggers that were prized by Yamhad's warriors. Under Sumuepu's reign, Aleppo flourished, its population swelling to nearly 30,000, making it one of the largest cities of its time. The Hittite Challenge, 1600 BC. By 1600 BC, the balance of power shifted as the Hittites, a rising force from Anatolia, sought to dominate the region. King Hattusili I of the Hittites besieged Aleppo, aiming to weaken Yamhad's hold. The city's walls, reinforced with stone, held firm, but the siege brought hardship. A young woman named Zaria, a weaver, rallied the women of Aleppo to support the defenders, sewing banners of Ishtar to inspire the warriors. Her brother, Tamon, a scribe, recorded the city's defiance on clay tablets, preserving the story for generations. The siege ended when Yamhad's king, Yeremlim III, negotiated a tribute, sparing Aleppo from destruction. The city's resilience earned it a reputation as an impregnable fortress, and its alliance with Yamhad grew stronger. Zaria's banners became a symbol of hope, hung in the temple of Ishtar, where the people gave thanks for their deliverance. Trade resumed, and Aleppo's forges once again rang with the sound of hammers as the city supplied bronze weapons to its allies. The era of Mitanni and Egypt, 1400 BC. Around 1400 BC, Aleppo fell under the influence of the Mitanni, a Hurrian-speaking kingdom that rose to prominence in the region. The Mitanni rulers brought new customs, introducing horse-drawn chariots that revolutionized warfare. A Mitanni noble named Shoshtater appointed a governor, Kurtu, to oversee Aleppo. Kurtu married a local woman, Naya, whose family had lived in the city for generations. Naya taught Kurtu the ancient songs of Aleppo, and together they built a sanctuary for the storm god, Tezhub, blending Mitanni and local traditions. During this time, Egypt's pharaohs, particularly Thutmose III, sought to expand their empire into the Levant. After the Battle of Megiddo around 1457 BC, Egyptian influence reached Aleppo, and the city became a vassal state. Kurtu's son, Aaron, served as a liaison to the Egyptians, traveling to Thebes to deliver tribute. Aaron returned with tales of the Nile and brought back faience beads, which Naya incorporated into her jewelry, selling them in the market. Despite the political shifts, Aleppo's culture thrived, its people adapting to each new ruler while preserving their traditions. The Assyrian shadow, 1200 BC. By 1200 BC, the Bronze Age collapse brought turmoil to the region. The Sea Peoples disrupted trade routes, and the Hittite Empire crumbled. Aleppo faced invasions from the growing Assyrian Empire to the east. A local leader named Halim organized the city's defense, training a militia to protect the citadel. Halim's daughter Mira was a healer, using herbs from the Quayx banks to treat the wounded. Her compassion earned her the title Mother of Aleppo, and her small clinic near the river became a place of refuge. The Assyrians eventually conquered Aleppo around 1100 BC, incorporating it into their empire. The city's temples were rededicated to Assyrian gods like Ashur, but the people quietly continued their rituals to Ishtar in secret. A potter named Danu crafted small figurines of the goddess, hiding them in the walls of homes as a sign of resistance. Despite the oppression, Aleppo's strategic location kept it vital, and the Assyrians invested in its infrastructure, building aqueducts to improve the water supply. The Persian dawn, 500 BC. By 500 BC, the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great had swept through the region, bringing Aleppo into its vast domain. The Persians were more lenient rulers, allowing the city to retain much of its autonomy. A governor named Farid, appointed by the Persians, oversaw the construction of a new marketplace, where goods from as far as India, spices, silks, and ivory, flowed into Aleppo. Farid's wife, Layla, was a poet, her verses celebrating the city's history and its enduring spirit. Her poetry was recited at festivals, where the people danced under the stars, their laughter mingling with the scent of roasting lamb. The Persian period brought stability, and Aleppo's population grew once more. The citadel was expanded, its walls adorned with reliefs of lions and griffins, symbols of Persian power. Farid introduced the Zoroastrian faith, but the people of Aleppo blended it with their own beliefs, offering prayers to both Ahura Mazda and their ancient gods. The city became a melting pot, its streets filled with the languages of Aramaic, Persian, and Akkadian. The Hellenistic transformation, 300 BC. In 333 BC, Alexander the Great's conquests brought Aleppo into the Hellenistic world. After Alexander's death, the city fell under the Seleucid Empire, which sought to Hellenize the region. A Seleucid governor, Antiochus, renamed the city Beroia and built a theater where Greek plays were performed. A young woman named Talia, a descendant of Layla, learned Greek and became a storyteller, blending the myths of Zeus with the tales of Ishtar. Her performances drew crowds, and she taught her children to honor both traditions. The Seleucids also introduced new crops, like grapes, and vineyards sprouted along the Quaic. A vintner named Sargon perfected a sweet wine that became a favorite in the Seleucid court. Aleppo's markets flourished, selling pottery with Greek designs alongside traditional Syrian wares. The Temple of Ishtar was rededicated to Athena, but the priests maintained their ancient rites in secret, ensuring the city's heritage endured. The Roman embrace, 100 AD. By 100 AD, Aleppo had come under Roman rule, part of the province of Syria. The Romans improved the city's roads, connecting it to Antioch and the Mediterranean. A Roman official named Lucius oversaw the construction of a bathhouse, its mosaics depicting scenes of the Euphrates River. Lucius married a local woman, Dara, whose family traced its lineage back to the Amorite priestess Inanna. Dara taught Lucius the city's history, and he ensured the citadel was preserved as a symbol of Aleppo's past. The city's population now exceeded 50,000, its streets a vibrant tapestry of cultures. Temples to Jupiter stood alongside shrines to Ishtar, and the marketplace sold goods from across the Roman Empire: olive oil from Greece, glassware from Egypt, and silk from China. A young man named Tariq, a descendant of Sargon, continued the family's winemaking tradition, his vintages praised in Rome itself. As the sun set over the citadel, Aleppo stood as a testament to its enduring legacy, a city that had weathered empires and emerged stronger with each dawn. Thank you for watching this. I hope you like my channel. Please like and leave a question or comment. Have a great week.